Today on the show, we're going to talk about Terra from the Teen Titans. If you didn't know that there were actually 3 Terras, then this show is for you. So Terra. Like I said before, there are actually 3 Terras, but only 2 actually join the Teen Titans, and obviously one of those 2 is the one that was adapted into the TV show. Now, I do want to say that if you've come to this video expecting a character similar to the Terra that appears in the Teen Titans TV show, then you need to stop having those thoughts right away. The Terra in the Teen Titans TV show got a really touching, heart-filled story that was obviously so totally tragic. The Terra in the Teen Titans comics was a bitch. So Terra, or as her real name was, Tara Markov, would first appear in New Teen Titans number 26 in 1982. Now, Terra in the comics did have Earth manipulating powers, but what's really interesting is how she had those powers. She was actually the illegitimate child of the King of Markovia, which is this fictional country that's in Europe in the DC universe. And basically, the royal line of Markovia has Earth manipulating powers. This also makes her the half-sister of Geo-Force. Obviously, right here you notice a major difference between the Teen Titans TV show Terra and the Teen Titans comics Terra. The TV show Terra was alone in the world. She couldn't have been more alone if she tried. The comics Terra wasn't alone and has no reason to do the things that she does. Basically, Terra was a mercenary, but she was unique in the sense that she would be a mercenary hired by other mercenaries, and she would do the work that those mercenaries didn't really want to do, or do the work that they couldn't do, and she would eventually be hired by Deathstroke the Terminator. Deathstroke would have Terra join the Teen Titans and send him information on the Teen Titans. And this information was their fears, their likes, their dislikes, pretty much everything that he needed to systematically take all of them down and take them to his contractors, the Hive. Now, I do just want to say that while Terra was with the Teen Titans, it was shown that she was really mentally unstable, and Raven really did not like her. The only Titan that Deathstroke wasn't able to kidnap was actually Dick Grayson, and he had actually recently quit being Robin and was totally questioning his hero lifestyle. After being given an in-depth history of Deathstroke's life, Dick Grayson became Nightwing and went to the Hive with Deathstroke's son, Jericho, and they both tried to save the Titans and quickly got kidnapped. So the Hive would show Nightwing and Jericho to Deathstroke, but Jericho had the power to possess people, and he would possess Deathstroke, but Terra didn't know about this power, so when Deathstroke began attacking her, she thought it was actually Deathstroke turning face on her, when it was actually just Jericho possessing him. Seemingly betrayed, Terra would become enraged, and she would try to kill everyone in the Hive stronghold by bringing the building down on herself, but she only kills herself. I mean, that is it for the first Terra. There is no more other than that. Well, I guess I should mention that she was a 16-year-old girl and she was in a sexual relationship with Deathstroke, but other than that, that is it. Now, I've made this storyline sound really simple, and while Terra herself is a total bitch, this is actually a storyline called the Judas Contract, and it is probably one of the best Teen Titans storylines out there, and I do encourage all of you to go and read it, because no matter how I'd retell it, it would never live up to how good the Judas Contract actually is. This Terra would actually return again in Blackest Night, where she would get a Black Lantern ring and become a zombie, and she would try to kill Beast Boy, but fortunately Starfire comes along and burns her to a crisp and saves the day. Now, in my Beast Boy video, I did mention how Beast Boy loved Terra, and a lot of you are like, oh my god, I hate how you say that. This was long before Beast Boy and Raven were an item, so Beast Boy really did love Terra. It wasn't between the lines, it was very blatant. He was in love with her and she was using him. Now we're on to the second Terra, who would first appear in the New Teen Titans Annual number 7 in 1991. So this Terra had a bit of an interesting origin. Basically, when this Terra was really young, she was exposed to a virus that pretty much made her a genetic clone of the original Terra. Because of this, she gained the Markovian royal blood and got Earth manipulating powers. Now obviously with the whole being used thing, Beast Boy was more than a little bit bitter about the original Terra, so when this genetic clone of the original Terra turns up, Beast Boy is still really bitter, but this Terra actually loves him, but he hates her. So when this Terra first appeared, she wasn't in the Teen Titans, she was actually in the Team Titans, which were basically a group of teenage superheroes from the future that came back in time to stop the birth of Donna Troy's son, but Donna just uses her powers to make sure her son wouldn't be born with any powers. So at the end of the Team Titans, it's revealed that Hank Hall, who is actually Hawk, who's another Titan, became the time-traveling villain Monarch. A whole mess of things would happen, and basically Monarch wanted to erase the universe in 0 hour, but the only thing he actually does is erase the future that the Team Titans are from, but thankfully Terra and Mirage managed to survive this. With nowhere else to go, Terra would join the Teen Titans, and here it is revealed that she's actually from the present day, and the Time Trapper picked her up from the present day and placed her in the future in Monarch's army just to keep tabs on Monarch's plans. In 1999, in the Secret Files special, it was revealed that this Terra was actually the same on a genetic level as the original Terra, and it is heavily implied that she is in fact the original Terra. It was only thanks to the events of Blackest Night that we find out that she wasn't the original Terra, which caused a long overdue sigh of relief. Now, in the 2003 incarnation of the Titans, there is actually a storyline in which the Titans go to the future and see themselves as their adult counterparts. For example, Raven had become Dark Raven and Robin had become Batman. In this future, the Titans are dark, they're evil, they're not afraid to kill people to get their own way, which is not a good thing. Terra in this future was actually part of the Titans East, which were these group of Titans that still held their heroic ideals, and they were totally good, and they heavily opposed these evil Titans. It's thanks to the Titans East that the Lost in Time Teen Titans managed to get back to their own time. Now, it is worth noting that in this future, it is shown that Beast Boy, who had become Animal Man, still hates Terra. Nothing really happens with Terra until the 52 event, and 52 was basically this weekly comic book series event that took place between Infinite Crisis and 1 year later. Now in 52 there was World War III, where Terra and the rest of the Teen Titans under Beast Boy's charge would fight Black Adam. The Teen Titans totally underestimated their foe, and Black Adam punched Terra through the chest, and this resulted in her instant death. After this, the Titans decided not to continue the fight. They decided to stick around and bury Terra instead. I really liked this Terra. She didn't really do all that much when she was about, but she didn't ever do anything to make you hate her. While most people, when they think of Terra, think of the original Terra, I know I personally think of this Terra. She was definitely my favorite one out of the original two for obvious reasons, and she's shrouded in a lot of mystery, but I was sad when she died. Now we're on to the third Terra, who was a long shot away from the original two Terras. She had black hair, and while the original two Terras had quite this dark, keeps themselves to themselves personalities, this Terra was peppy, outgoing, and did good for the sake of good. Now there are two things that you need to keep in mind with this Terra. One, her name wasn't Tara, it was Atlee. Number two, she would never join the Teen Titans. She would first appear in Supergirl number 12 in 2007. So this Terra would turn up near a party that Supergirl was at while fighting a monster that was from under the Earth's surface, and her and Supergirl would team up and collapse the ground that this monster was standing on and defeat it. This Terra is actually part of an alien civilization that live under the Earth's crust in a giant cave that they've called Strata. Now, Atli's people's survival depends heavily on the Earth's ecosystem doing well, so Atli was given powers based on the genetic template of the original Terra and an ore called Quixium, and she was told to go to the surface and just make sure everything was going hip and groovy. So during Final Crisis, a group of people that called themselves the Terra Titans would start kidnapping teenaged heroes to compete in the Darkseid Club. When Atli hears about this, she goes on the run. Eventually, she would meet up with Aquagirl, Molecule, Offspring, Zachary Zatara, and the Star-Spangled Kid. Now, she is a teenage metahuman, and this is comic books, so obviously nothing can go according to plan, and all of them would get kidnapped, and Molecule would be killed. So Atli and the others would be subject to the anti-life equation, which basically turned them into Darkseid slaves. Then all of them would be forced to compete in this tournament with a bunch of teenage metahumans, and Atli would storm her way through it and would be made part of Clock King's Matar militia, and all of them were going to attack Los Angeles. However, before this could happen, Miss Martian, Ravager, and Static would turn up and save the day. After this event, Atli would be offered a place in the Teen Titans, but she declines this offer because she heard about the other two Terras and figured that if a Terra joins the Teen Titans, they die. After this, she would become Power Girl's sidekick, return to the Earth's crust where she would visit her home, realize that she prefers it on the surface, go back to the surface and join an all-female group which included Batgirl. Then the wonder that's the New 52 would happen. I know all of you love hearing about the New 52. So there is a Terra in the New 52, and she's actually originally seen with the new Beast Boy in the New 52. And she's blonde, so it's fair to assume that she's Terra Markov, and she actually has feelings for Beast Boy, which is a really nice thing to see. She's part of the Ravagers, which are basically a group of heroes that escape Harvest in the culling. So far in the New 52, I like her. She's done nothing to make me not like her. She hasn't done much, but what she's done is fine. Honestly, they could do anything with this character and most people wouldn't mind, so she is a great character for them to experiment with. So get on that, DC, start experimenting with this character because I want to see a lot from her. It's super effective! Okay guys, that is it for today. If you think I missed anything about Terra, please let me know in the comments down below, and also don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more history, and also don't forget to like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. My name is Faust, this has been Exploring Comics, and it is super effective.